Imagine waking up to a phone call that flips your world upside down. Your dream home, the one you poured months of planning, saving, and building into, has been reduced to rubble. And the culprits? A power-hungry HOA that had no right to touch your property. This is the story of James Carter, a man who fought back against tyranny and turned a nightmare into a legend. James was enjoying a quiet morning when his phone buzzed. It was his contractor, Mike, sounding like he'd seen a ghost. "James, get down here now." The urgency in Mike's voice sent a chill down James's spine. "What's wrong?" he asked, bracing himself. After a pause, Mike dropped the bombshell. "The HOA, they brought bulldozers. Your house is gone." James laughed, thinking it was a sick prank. But Mike's insistence wasn't joking. Heart racing, James sped to the site, praying it wasn't true. When he arrived, his stomach dropped. Where his home stood just yesterday was now a wasteland of splintered beams, shattered bricks, and cracked concrete. It looked like a bomb had gone off. And there, standing smugly amid the wreckage, were the HOA board members, arms crossed, acting like they'd just cleaned up the neighborhood. Before James could process the loss, Patricia Hensley, the HOA president, strutted forward with a smirk that screamed entitlement. "Mr. Carter," she said, her voice dripping with fake sympathy, "I assume you've been informed of the necessary demolition." James's vision blurred with rage. His home, his life savings, his future, was gone, and this woman was acting like it was just another Tuesday. "Are you insane?" James growled, fists trembling. "This was my property. You had no right." Patricia sighed, as if dealing with a child. "We sent warnings, James. Your home violated HOA standards. You ignored us, so we enforced our rules." James's jaw tightened. "I'm not even in your HOA. My land isn't part of it." Patricia's smile didn't waver. "Maybe not technically, but it was visible from our community. It didn't fit our aesthetic. We have a duty to maintain appearances." James stepped closer, voice low and dangerous. "So, because you didn't like how my fully permitted, city-approved house looked, you destroyed it?" Patricia shrugged. "We did what was necessary." Mike pulled James aside, whispering, "We need a lawyer, now." James nodded, glaring at Patricia. She thought this was over. She had no idea what she'd unleashed. That night, James couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw his home in ruins. Rage coursed through him, demanding action. By morning, he was done playing nice. He stormed into the HOA office, slamming the door open so hard it rattled the walls. Board members flinched, but Patricia sat at her oversized desk, sipping coffee like a queen. "Mr. Carter," she said, smiling. "I wondered when you'd show up." "Cut the act, Patricia." James snapped, slamming a stack of documents, zoning maps, property deeds, permits, onto her desk. "My land's outside your control. You had no authority." Patricia barely glanced at the papers. "Technicalities," she said dismissively. James's blood boiled. "You destroyed my home. That's not a technicality." Patricia leaned forward, her smile turning cold. "Your house was an eyesore, James. We've spent years perfecting this community's look. Your project was a disruption." James laughed bitterly. "So you bulldozed my future because it didn't match your cookie-cutter fantasy?" Patricia's eyes narrowed, but she waved him off. "Sue us if you want. You'll lose." James grinned, a predator's grin that made Patricia shift uncomfortably. "Oh, Patricia," he said, "I'm going to do so much more than that." He walked out, already dialing his lawyer. The war had begun. James didn't just want justice, he wanted vengeance. He hired a private investigator and tipped off a local journalist hungry for a scandal. Within hours, his lawyer confirmed the obvious. James's house was fully permitted, exempt from HOA rules because his land was county property, not part of their development. The HOA had no legal leg to stand on. But the investigator uncovered something even darker, proof the HOA acted with intent. Internal emails between board members revealed the truth. One, from Patricia herself, read, Carter property, time to act." The chain was damning. "His construction's a disgrace," Patricia wrote. "We need to protect property values." A board member replied, "But we don't have authority over his land. Legal will push back." Patricia's response, "They won't if we move fast. Once it's gone, he'll have no choice but to comply." James's heart pounded as he read it. They knew they were breaking the law and did it anyway. Then came the knockout punch, a secret recording from an unlogged HOA meeting. Patricia's voice was unmistakable. If we let him finish, he'll ruin everything. We need to send a message. No one defies this HOA. James's hands shook with fury. This wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated attack. He sent everything to his lawyer and the journalist. The HOA thought they could bully him into silence. They were about to regret it. The next morning, James's lawyer filed a $3.5 million lawsuit against the HOA for destruction of property, trespassing, harassment, and financial damages. The board laughed it off until they saw the evidence. Emails, recordings, and proof of their deliberate crime turned their smugness to panic. Patricia unraveled at an emergency meeting, snapping, "We had every right to demolish that house." A board member coughed awkwardly. Patricia, legal says we didn't." Her face flushed. "I don't care. We were protecting the community." But no one backed her. The news broke that day. HOA illegally bulldozes home, faces millions in damages. The story exploded. Neighbors, former HOA victims, even ex-board members came forward with tales of the HOA's reign of terror, fines for minor infractions, threats of foreclosure, and now this. Patricia tried to spin it, blaming James, calling him a troublemaker. She even claimed the HOA was the victim. The judge wasn't having it. In court, James's lawyer laid out the evidence like a guillotine. Emails, recordings, city records proving James's compliance. The HOA had nothing but lies. Board members turned on Patricia to save themselves. "She ordered it," one cried. "She said it was legal." Patricia seethed. "You cowards, you all agreed." The judge silenced her with a gavel. "Enough." Then, the moment everyone waited for. This court finds the HOA acted with malicious intent in demolishing Mr. Carter's home. You are ordered to pay $3.5 million in damages. The courtroom buzzed. But the judge wasn't done. Due to the HOA's gross abuse of power, this court grants a motion to dissolve the HOA entirely. Gasps echoed. Patricia looked like she'd been slapped. "You can't," she shrieked. The judge's glare shut her up. The HOA is a corrupt entity. It will no longer operate. Patricia's empire crumbled in seconds. James leaned back, savoring her defeat. But he wasn't finished. Winning wasn't enough. James wanted Patricia to feel the sting forever. With part of his settlement, he bought the lot next to her house. And what did he build? A neon green monstrosity that screamed anti-HOA. A flashing billboard reading HOA Free Zone. A flagpole waving a banner saying Patricia Hensley approved this, and a mural of a bulldozer crossed out. The neighborhood roared with laughter. Patricia tried to fight it. Complaints, city hall pleas, but James's permits were ironclad. She had to pass it daily, a glaring reminder of her downfall. The final blow? The HOA's collapse left Patricia isolated. Legal fees bankrupted her. Former allies shunned her. With no choice, she sold her house and fled town, humiliated and powerless. James moved into his new dream home, bigger and bolder than before. Every morning, he sipped coffee on his porch, grinning at his spite house. Tourists snapped photos, and the story went viral. James became a legend, the man who killed an HOA. A year later, the neighborhood thrived without the HOA's iron grip. Homeowners lived freely, no longer fearing petty fines or threats. Some even helped James rebuild, grateful for his stand. His neon green house stood as a monument to defiance, its billboard now reading, "This view approved by Patricia Hensley." People traveled miles to see the house that ended a tyranny. James never worried about HOAs again. No one would dare cross him. What do you think of James's revenge? Was his spite house a stroke of genius or a step too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. And while we're at it, what about pranks in relationships? Playful jab or risky move? Share your stories and let's get the debate going. Hit that like button and subscribe for more wild stories like this one.